Chapter 13. Don't make the little squirrels angry. After dinner, Blue and Gaiso talked some more about the trip. They considered all the possible routes and eventually decided on a starting point. They would follow the tallest mountain on the eastern horizon until they reached it. Musica Woods is in the south, but I think it would be better to head east for a while before turning that direction. I don't want to get anywhere near Mog's castle if we can avoid it, Gaiso said. Blue agreed. He didn't want to get any closer to Mog than he had to either. He had never been further from home than the guarded forest, so he was curious about many things. Do you know anything about the landscapes or the populations we might come across on our route? He asked. To be honest, most of my travels have been west of the forest. The foraging is better over there, the stag admitted. This will be all new to me too. But I'm excited. This will be a grand adventure. The moon had risen to its highest point. Gaiso yawned and said, "Time to get some sleep. The earlier we turn in, the sooner our adventure can begin." With that, they decided to call it a night. Bright rays of moonlight filtered through the thickly leaved trees, making it hard for Blue to completely relax. He shifted around, trying to find a comfortable spot to rest his head on the hard ground. He couldn't sleep. His mind kept wandering. He heaved a nervous sigh, thinking, I wonder what's out there. Will there be monsters? Will we have to fight for our lives? I've never been so far from home before. Will we make it to Musica Woods in time? Will we make it there at all? I'm so glad I won't be going alone. He looked at Gaiso, and a feeling of gratitude rushed through him. He lifted his head and said, "Thank you." Gaiso was already halfway through the veil to dreamland when Blue's words pulled him back. "Are you talking to me?" he mumbled. His voice was heavy with sleep. "Yes," Blue said, feeling slightly shy. He had not intended for Gaiso to hear what he said. He knew the stag did not like showing mushy feelings. Gaiso's confusion showed on his face when he asked, "Whatever for?" "For being my friend," Blue said humbly. Gaiso snorted rather loudly and sputtered, "Why, yes, of course. I'm glad you're mine too. Now, get some sleep. Morning will come soon." Morning arrived very quickly. An orange glow had spread across the entire sky by the time the young unicorn and the brave stag made their farewells to the others. "I have a bad feeling about this adventure, brother," Springen said, looking at Gaiso with large, soulful eyes. "I wish you wouldn't go." The macho male laughed off her worries. "It's your female nature that makes you worry, sister. I can take care of myself, have no fear. And you will be safe here in the guarded forest," he promised. He placed a brotherly kiss on her forehead before trotting off to meet his fate, with never a backward glance. Ura gasped, "Female nature? What a pig! Can you believe that guy? Thinks he's king of the forest or something." She aimed the unshelled nut in her hand right at the back of his head. That wouldn't be right, Ura," Olina chided her sister. But she absolutely agreed. Poor Springen, to have to put up with such a clod. What a bunch of bunkum! I could never. Ura looked at the nut in her hand, thinking, Olina's right. Why waste a perfectly good nut on Mr. Fancy Antlers? She laughed. I can see we need to teach that doe a thing or two while her big brother's off on his quest. She broke the shell open and popped the tasty meat into her mouth. Olina jumped right on it, getting the doe's attention. "Springen, dear, why do you put up with that kind of claptrap from your brother?" "Gaiso's not so bad," she defended. "He has a very big heart, you know. Just look how he dropped everything to go off on this quest with Blue." "Yes, and left you here to fend for yourself," the little squirrel huffed. "You know I'm safe here, Olina," the little doe said in her brother's defense. Gaiso would never forgive himself if the young stallion had taken off alone and come to harm. "My brother has a big heart. He's a protector. He goes with those who need protecting the most." "You're the one with the big heart, Springen," Ura told her as a tear escaped her eye. "Loving him in spite of his faults the way you do." Springen just smiled in reply. then sadly watched her brother's back until he was out of sight. Even though she spoke bravely in his defense, he was only flesh and blood. He could be beaten by a stronger opponent. She hoped he would return safely. He was the only family she had, and losing him would be unbearable. Be safe, brother, she thought, and turned back toward home.